Example 2 for expected value. A local club plans to invest $9,000 to host a baseball game. They expect to sell tickets worth $16,000. However, if it rains on the day of the game, they will not sell any tickets and the club will lose all the money invested. If the weather forecast for the day of the game is 30% possibility of rain, is this a good investment? To determine if it's a good investment, we need to find its expected value. To define its expected value, we're going to need to know the probability for each item and the value for each item. So first let's start with A and look at the outcomes. For the outcomes, there's only two outcomes for this game. There is, if it rains, no game, and if it doesn't rain, they will have the game. Right? Then for our probability for each, if we're looking at no game, that probability is 30%, because that's our chance of rain. And remember, the only reason that we're given that they're going to cancel is rain. So that's a 30% chance. And I'm going to turn that into a decimal. So 3/10. Then the probability for having a game would then be 70%, or 7/10. To get that 70%, okay, remember all percents are out of 100, so we can say 100 minus 30, and that would equal 70%. And then we can turn that percent into a decimal. For our expected values and our outcome values, so let's start with not having our game. And then we need the value for that. So basically, how much money are they going to lose? They're going to lose $9,000. That would be negative 9,000. If they have the game, that expected value is basically going to be your profit. So the profit they would make on this would be $7,000. So the value for having the game would be 7,000. And I got that by subtracting our ticket sales, so how much they would have earned in tickets, $16,000, minus the $9,000 that it cost them, and that would give us $7,000. Then we're going to fill in our probabilities for each. So the probability that no game will happen was that 0.3, and the probability of having the game, 0.7. So now we need to find our expected value. We're going to use these numbers to do that. So remember, expected value is the value of the event, so that no game part, which would be negative 9,000, times the probability that it's going to happen, plus the value of your next event times the probability that it's going to happen. Now we only have 2 here, so I'm only going to have 2. If I had more events, then we would add more pieces. All right, so if we put that into our calculator, you should get $2,200. Okay, so our expected value would be $2,200 for this particular event. So we want to know if this is a good investment. So we would say that yes, this is a good investment because they are expected to make $2,200. If this would have ended up being a negative value, we would not have said this was a good investment. It would have been a bad investment because they would be expected to lose money over time. Okay? Remember, this is an average, so this may not be what happens this specific time, but on average, if they gave this, had this event over and over again, they're still going to be making money. They may lose money once or twice, but on average, they're going to be making money, which makes it a good investment.